dog caught it. Now, did you think of any other ways to say this? Yes, some of you wrote in some really good ways, so I'm going to write them up here. The dog caught the stick that had been thrown in the air. This is also correct. And I see it split my word up there. Okay, we try that again. All right, very good. So I think these two examples probably are the most correct, the best type of answers that were so far. One of you write in, you say, the stick has been thrown in the air, the dog caught it. But this is not correct grammar, actually. We can't use that. Because the stick has been thrown in the air, the dog caught it, sounds a little strange in our English. So most likely we wouldn't use that. We could say that the stick was thrown in the air and the dog caught it. Yes, you can say that. The stick was thrown in the air and the dog caught it. That is correct. You can say that. Okay. You write and you say two actions or different times. So I use the same past simple sentence. I understand what you're saying because it can almost sound a little bit strange because it's two different times. First, the stick was thrown, and then afterwards the dog caught it. However, you probably knew in English, sometimes you can omit words in the sentence, even though they should be there, because in our daily speaking we can understand it. One of you write in, you said that it was the dog caught the stick which had been thrown in the air. That is correct. We do omit that word which. Why? Well, as you know, in English we become lazy. We don't want to maybe make the sentence so long, so we omit things. Okay, well, one of you say, how about if we say, when the stick had been thrown in the air the same time the dog jumped to catch the stick. You can't say jumping, jumped with past tense, jumped to catch the stick. When the stick had been thrown in the air, at the same time, you need to add the word at the same time the dog jumped to catch the stick. Yes, you can say that. But I added two things. One is past tense and one is with the word at the same time. Some of you say, well, it's lacking a second verb. The key is also in English, not so much sometimes, you know this because we've taught this in other classes, in our speech, in our colloquial way of speech, means our common way of speech, yes, sometimes we omit certain verbs, certain words, but we still can understand the meaning, and they're still acceptable. It's sort of like learning Chinese. When I started learning Chinese, sometimes I found out they would omit words. And I'd ask my teacher, why? Why does Chinese do that? She said, because we already know what they're trying to say, so we don't need to add more words. And English is very similar to that. All right? So I know sometimes maybe you guys will feel like, oh, that's not right, or you can't say this. One of you write into me, I know you can't see this, said redundant or redundancy. That is correct. Redundant or redundancy means to repeat again. So sometimes a sentence maybe will repeat itself, or be too cluttered with too many words, so that's why we omit or take some out. You'll notice that a lot actually in tonight's session. There is a lot taken out or omitted. All right, let's move on. Thanks for